Go God, go God, hey go God, go God, hey go God. Look.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another video, and today I'll be doing a story time on when my sister got stabbed. And before I get into the story time, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to your girl's channel. Y'all, I'm gonna try to get through this story. I'm gonna try to get through it, y'all. I don't talk about my sister a lot because she did actually die not from that. How she died would be another story time. So I don't talk about her a lot at all. I don't tell too much stories about her at all because the pain is still unbearable. But let's get into this story time. All right, so this is when back in 1993 or 94, 93 or 94, I think, because we moved to Minnesota. We moved to Minnesota in 2001, February of 2001. So we were going to this high school, Southwest. Okay, so me and my sister, okay, let me just give you a little backstory real quick. Me and my little sister, which that's the person that got stabbed, that's who I'm talking about, Keisha. We are 3 years apart. Okay, I was going to the school first because, like I said, we're 3 years apart. So I finished the rest of my 10th grade year at Southwest High School. And so she had went, I forgot the name of her, the middle school she went to. But anyway, y'all, it's irrelevant. But anyway, so she was going there. Of course, I met friends, you know, I became friends with certain people and stuff. This one girl I became friends with, yeah, me and her was in the same grade. I'm gonna call her Kay. Okay, so I'm gonna call that girl Kay. So me and her became friends. So sometimes I used to stay down at her house with her, and her cousins used to come over. So her cousin, which she was a year older than us, she went to Southwest High School as well. So that's how me and her became friends, you know, and stuff. So anyway, my 11th grade year, that's when my sister, she was in the 9th grade. And in between that time, I was friends with this other girl. What I'm gonna call her? Is she an African? I'm gonna call her A. So anyway, so A, we became friends because we had, you know, classes and stuff together. And she used to talk to me about, you know, how strict her father was and, you know, how bad her father did her. So, and then the other girl, Kay, she was being mistreated at home as well. Okay, hold on. I don't know. All right, let me just stop it right here, y'all, and tell y'all this. It's just a gift that's in me that God had placed in me, because it just seemed like all my life, it was always people that needed love. That I always attracted. Like, you know, like I didn't need love. I ain't never get no love, so how the freak am I keep on attracting people that need love? But anyway, y'all, so it was just like I always attracted those broken people, you know, even though I was broken. So that's a whole totally different story, y'all. We're gonna get into all that too. But in this story time, so anyway, she used to come to school, the girl Kay. She used to come to school, hair not done, and like she used to wear the same clothes. People used to pick with her. And with me, I don't like that. I don't like bullying at all. I really don't. I really, really don't. And she was a cool girl, you know. So what I used to do, I used to let her wear my clothes and fix up her hair and stuff. Yes, I was just being a friend to her and, you know, trying to uplift her spirits and stuff like that. I always did that with all my friends. Now with Kay, our friendship was different from the girl A. So the African girl. So when she, you know, she used to cry all the time and then want to come home with me and stuff, and she'll be at my house all the time. You know, she always used to come down because she didn't live that far from us. We rode the same school bus and everything. All three of us did. So she used to stay at my house all the time. And then it's just the way we were and stuff, and the way, you know, my family was and stuff, you know, she was like, well, we don't have that and stuff. So I felt bad for her, you know. So anyway, so that's how, you know, we became close, because, you know, she stayed at my house all the time, you know. So anyway, she was a hard worker. She worked after school. Some incident happened and she ended up staying with us. So she ended up staying with us. I forgot how many months it was. So anyway, all right, y'all. I'm trying to get to the point of the story. So if I'm skipping and cutting stuff off, it's because some of the stuff is irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm trying to give y'all a little background on how those friends were and how everything came together with the girl who stabbed my sister. So that's why I'm giving y'all a little background of everything. So just bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Like I told y'all, it's very hard for me to tell this story. So please bear with me, please. So that's how those girls became close with me. The cousin, what am I call her? The one who stabbed my sister. What am I gonna call her? So T, well, oh dang, because I'm gonna call her Sister T. So I'm gonna call her KT. All right, so listen, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna call her the girl who stabbed my sister. I'm gonna call her KT. Then her sister, I'm gonna call her T. All right. So anyway, that's the initials of all that names. If y'all don't get that. So anyway, y'all. So the girl K, which was my friend, like I told you, the girl KT is her cousin, and the girl T is her cousin. So when she was down, I stayed the night at my friend's house, K. I stayed at her house. So her cousins was there. Well, not T, but the girl KT that went to we went to the same school. So I guess you seen how cool I was and stuff like that, because, you know, I am that girl, you know. I'm just playing, y'all. She seen how cool I was and stuff like that, and how good of a friend I was to Kay. So she used to say that. She was like, you know, you're a real good friend of her and stuff, and she needs somebody like that in her life and all that. So anyway, so that's how she befriended me. I didn't befriend her. She befriended me. So after that, she started, like, coming over my house, you know, wanted to come catch the bus. She was catching our bus and was coming over our house. Me and my sister used to do hair. Now, that point in time, before my sister actually died, before she died, I didn't know how to braid at all. So I'll tell y'all that story later. But anyway, I didn't know how to braid. So what I did, I used to curl hair good and straighten hair, put perms and all this stuff. I used to do that type of hair real good. My sister was the braider. My sister that died, Keisha, she was the braider girl. I'm telling you, she could braid her butt off. So she used to come and get her hair done, because she used to see our hair done all the time. And the way I did Kay's hair and stuff, like I told y'all, she started getting her hair done by us or whatever. So that's how she befriended us. So she was coming over our house every single day. She was there. She never wanted to go home. Like, for real, y'all. She never wanted to go home. And I'm like, what in the freak? She always want to be under, you know. And then, like, I'm a homebody, y'all. And I don't like people in my space, but I would help anybody. That's just me. I asked her, I was like, why you don't want to go home? You know what I'm saying? She didn't want to talk about it right then and there. She was just like, she just don't like being at home and, you know, and stuff like that. So anyway, y'all, fast forward. She asked me to stay over her house one night, you know, for the weekend. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, so where she lived far away from where we lived at. I took the bus home from school with her. So that's how I got over there. So anyway, stayed over her house that weekend and stuff. And her sister, when she had a little sister, I think she was a year or two younger than her. So that's T. Now T, all right, now let me tell y'all. Now, KT, she is real quiet. She was a real quiet girl. You know what I'm saying? And she was cool though, you know, and it was like you could tell when a person is broken, you could tell when a person is hurting, and you know what I'm saying? So that was her. And she was sweet. She didn't bother nobody. I think she was smart and everything in school. I think she was. I forgave her for what she did to my sister. I forgave her, but you know, I would never forget. You know, but I don't have nothing bad to say about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling y'all the truth of what it is. Much bad I can say about that girl. You know, like I said, she was quiet, and I think she was smart in school and stuff, and, you know, got good grades and all that. But her sister, that sister was a wildcat, honey. I'm telling y'all. Oh, that sister was something else. Always fighting in school. She got put out of school. Every school she went to, she got put out. I'm telling y'all, every freaking school that girl went to, she got put out. But she was more outgoing like I am. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the girl, Katie, I was about to say the girl's name. The girl, Katie, she was more quieter. You know what I'm saying? She won't like her sister. Her sister was about it. You know, that girl right there was just something. So anyway, y'all, so when I first got over there and stuff, you know, well, the people that know me know I'm friendly to everybody. I'm just an outgoing type of person. You know, my personality is bomb, you know. So it's like, of course, she gonna gravitate to me too, right? So, cause you know, me and her, you know, then we got to talking and joking and stuff like that. So the girl, KT, she was getting mad, right? And I was wondering why she was getting mad. And so I'm like, and she just kept saying like, you my friend, you not her friend, you my friend, you my friend, and little stuff like that, you know. And I'm like, okay, I know, but that's your sister, you know. I can't help it, you know. So anyway, so the sister wanted to hang out with me all the time now too. So the girl KT, I seen she, you know, used to get mad and jealous and stuff like that. So the girl T, she was like, you the girl, the friend, you know, be doing my sister's hair and stuff like that. Can you do my hair? Can your sister do? You see what I'm saying? So she wanted to be friends with me so bad. And, you know, and so this what she did. So she transferred and came over to our school, right? So she wanted to hang out with me all the time. And I seen KT, she like pull it back. You get what I'm saying? It's like she was getting so mad and jealous, and she was just acting real weird and stuff about it. So anyway, so I had to talk to her like, you know, what's going on? So she was like, well, you my friend. And she always trying to, you know, take my friends away from me. She always trying to take everything away from me. And listen, y'all, I'm a country girl. You know what I'm saying? So that whole totally different vibe Minnesota's a whole totally different vibe. You feel me? Like, you know, and it's just like a whole totally different people. Now, we come from the country, you know, and where I'm from is a small town. So I wasn't used to all this different people and personalities and different cultures and stuff like that, and different gangs and all of that. Violence, and I wasn't used to none of that stuff, y'all, you know. So I was used to the, you know, the school girls, you know, being jealous and talking and, you know, that little type of stuff. You know, we were kids, you know what I'm saying? And we were in high school, so you know how that go. So when she finally talked to me, she, you know, she just got to crying and stuff like that. She was like, I finally found somebody that loved me, you know? So she was talking about me and my, you know, my family. So it was just me, my little sister, my big sister, and my mom. It's just like she felt love there, you know what I'm saying? Because they treated my friends and we treated their friends, whatever. We treat everybody like family. That's just how we, hold on, y'all. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I got my window open and it's raining and stuff. So if I didn't have my blinds open, it would be like so dark in here. So anyway, getting back to what I was saying. So she's seen that, and she's seen how we were and stuff like that. So she didn't get that from, you know, her mom. And, you know, she started to tell me why she was like that and what had happened to her and stuff when she was little, and then how, you know what I'm saying, her mom always mistreat her over, you know what I'm saying, her sister. Every boyfriend that the mom had did something with them, you know. So I'm not gonna, you know, say it, you know, in order to keep the boyfriend. You get what I'm saying? So the mom, y'all put two and two together. Y'all know what I'm saying. But I'm not trying to put that girl's business out there like that. But I'm just saying, I'm just giving y'all a little backstory on how broken she was and the mind state she was in. So y'all get the gist of what I'm saying about them. That's why the little sister always acted out. So fast forward to the little sister going to the same school. Then she transferred over to the same school that we were at. That girl didn't stay in school, but not even a week. She wasn't even at that school for a whole freaking week. She got to fight me again. Oh my God, that girl. So anyway, like I said, that was just a week that she went to school. That was just a week. I said, dang, girl. So she won't go into the school no more. So let me tell you. So y'all remember I told you about the African girl that was staying with us, right? All right. So anyway, So she was staying with us. And I'm going to have to tell y'all little pieces of different stories to get to why everything happened. Okay, so y'all just bear with me now. Bear with me. So anyway, y'all. Anyway, so the girl, the African girl, so she was staying with us. So she started to become more friends. We're not friends, but you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was my little sister, Keisha, and my big sister. You know, we all was cool. You know what I'm saying? So they all was cool with her. She was more mature, you know what I'm saying? So she was like, you know, real grown. That's probably why her daggone daddy was so doggone strict on her, because she was, yeah, she was something else. She was. But anyway, told us this story like her daddy. But we not gonna go into that and talk about, you know, that's our business. So one day, her older sister, I think I seen the older sister somewhere. So she told me the truth about what happened. She said, no, she just want to be grown and do what she want to do and sleep around and all this stuff. Now I'm saying that's what the big sister told me. I'm not telling that girl's business. I said, that's what the big sister told me about her. So I'm like, okay. So she's like, that's the reason why she don't want to, you know what I'm saying, live at home no more, because of that. And, you know, the daddy not going for that or whatever. So anyway, y'all. So after that, because she started acting strange. So I said, I know it just ain't me. You get what I'm saying? My spirit ain't never wrong, y'all. So don't play with that. My spirit ain't never wrong when it come to people. And I'm like, she acting strange for a freaking reason, you know? And so it's all right. So let me tell y'all. So I was friends with this dude and his brother. We went to the same school, and both of the brothers liked me. So anyway, but we were cool though. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want neither one of them, but I did like the other brother. That me and him was like that. Me and him was so tight, y'all. And he loved my family, especially my mom. He used to come down there and just mess with my mom all the time. When I tell y'all, he was so sweet and like so cool, and he was just so kind-hearted. He was just like, I'm telling you, he was just like the perfect guy you want to spend the rest of your life with. That's how he was, you know. But we were just friends, you know. I thought we were just friends, but he liked me though. You know what I'm saying? I didn't find out till like kind of like the end that he really liked me. I didn't know he did. I just thought we were just friends. So he used to come down my house all the time. That's what I'm saying. He used to be at my house all the time too. It's like we were so cool, and we used to go places together, movies. We used to do a whole lot of stuff together. Like I told y'all, we went to the same school. He was a great football player. He was smart. I'm telling y'all, he was, yeah, he was something. And my mom liked him too. My mom loved him. I was wondering why the African girl, I'm gonna call her African girl, because I keep on these alphabets and stuff, I keep on getting mixed up and all that. But the African girl that was staying with us, I was wondering why she was acting all funny, right? So remind you, he told her, now listen to this, y'all. Remind you, he told her how he felt about me, right? So he was in love with me, which I didn't know, and the brother knew too, but the brother liked me too. So anyway, how did that get out? He finally told me, all right, oh, this what happened, y'all, listen. All right, so this what happened. He finally told me what happened. So he was saying she want my friend, right? So like I told you, me and him was close and stuff like that or whatever. She kept trying to sleep with him, but they ended up sleeping together anyway. And I think they had kids together or something, I think. Or the brother ended up telling. Yep. Y'all, the brother ended up telling me, honey. So this what happened. The brother ended up telling me, was like, yeah, that girl ain't your friend, right? So he kept saying it. He said, that girl ain't your friend. She ain't your friend. So all she do is talk about you, and she always coming up here, you know, around him. So I was wondering why she stopped staying. Listen to this. Y'all, she stopped staying at our house, right? And she'd just stay at her house, you know, some nights and stuff like that, because she lived like a block away from him, right? So she started staying back at her house, but then she'll come on back then. So I'm like, some fishy going on. So I told y'all, you know, my spirit ain't never wrong. So I was wondering why she was always acting funny, but then once he come around, she always act a certain way and move a certain way and stuff, right? This brother kept telling me that. So remind y'all, this when I was running track, so I had to stay back after school, right? So this was going on during that time, so like the springtime and stuff. So this is all this occurred during that time. So I won't ride the bus home after school no more and stuff like that. So I used to get home real late. Plus I was working, y'all. So it's like I won't at home really, you know what I'm saying, no more, because I was working, then track practice and stuff like that. So I was always gone. So I didn't know what was going on. It's like, something going on. So then when they kept telling me, my friends at school was telling me about it too. So I said, whatever. But I liked him too. But it's just, you know, we was real good friends, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't know he didn't, I didn't know he liked me like that until later on. So I'm like, if you know we liked each other, why would you do that? She was sneaking behind my back. So I'm like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, we was friends first, but you know, I didn't want to mess up our friendship by, you know, she was going back talking about me to him, telling him that I don't like him. And I mean, lying now. Line up a storm. So I remind you, the brother telling me all this mess. So, cause you know, him and his brother was real close. So, you know, the reason why the brother was telling me, because he knew that I liked him and he liked me, but he liked me. You see what I'm saying? So he was telling me all that, and he was like, yeah, she up here all the time. She'll talk about you like a dog, and remind you that wench still had her freaking clothes at my house and all this stuff, and still was coming down there and staying. I said, oh no, oh no. Oh, no, not at all. So me and her got to arguing and said, oh, wench. Ooh. But anyway, come get your clothes. Come get your freaking clothes on out my freaking house. And go on and take your little butt on back on up there at your daddy's house and stay on up there. Now, me and her ain't friends. We still rode the same bus and stuff like that. So now she really sneaking and fooling with him. And I stopped talking to him too. And I'm like, because you should have came to me. You feel me? You know? And I'm like, you doing that, and me and you, why you just didn't come to me? Me and you was so freaking close. Me and him was so close. You know me. This the thing that I don't get about people. If you know me, you know what I'm saying? You know that's not my character. So why you just didn't come and ask me? I would have told you. You feel me? I would have told you. But no, you know what I'm saying? You believed her, you know what I'm saying? Him and her, you know what I'm saying? They was together or whatever you call it, you know what I'm saying? And I think they had a couple kids together and stuff or whatever. All right. Y'all remember that. Me and the girl ain't friends no more. But her and my sisters was still cool. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not that type of person to be like, well, you ain't gonna, no, don't be speaking to her because I ain't speaking to her no more. We ain't friends no more, so y'all ain't friends. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Because she ain't do nothing to my sister. You know what I'm saying? It was me. She kept trying to be friends with my sister because she ain't had no bad. A couple people wanted to beat her up and all this stuff. And then I was taking up for her and all that stuff at school. But anyway, y'all, so she wanted to be friends with my sister because that's the only friend that she had, really. Fast forward to the girl, KT. The one that stabbed my sister. She stopped. Now listen to this, y'all. I told y'all. I didn't know what was going on at all. I was in a blind until like a couple days before she actually stabbed my sister on the bus. Okay. My sister and the African girl, they, you know, riding the bus home. They used to sit beside each other. Now, listen to this. So the reason why the girl KT stopped speaking to me and my sister and all of us, it's because of this dude. This boy my sister was going with. Now, like I told y'all, my sister was in the 9th grade. He was in the 9th grade. They went to the same middle school together, and they were going together then, and they was friends and talking then they started going together when they went to high school, okay? So she was going with this boy. The girl KT, she's in the 12th grade. And I told you I was in the 11th. So the girl KT had this big crush on him, which didn't nobody know. So anyway, so how you will get mad because that's my sister's boyfriend. How you will get mad at her, get mad at all of us when you got a crush on him? So anyway, that's how, you know what I'm saying, she was messed up in the mind. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. You know, I'm telling y'all these little stories. So she had a crush on that little boy. So didn't nobody know. So we was wondering why she just all of a sudden stopped speaking and not coming over our house. And for real, it was crazy. Like, you know, she used to just do like little crazy little stuff. Your cousin, the one that I was originally friends with, me and her stopped being friends because she was just trifling, you know, and which I didn't know she was trifling until when I stayed at the house. I only stayed at the house one time. You know what I'm saying? And if I see that your house ain't, I'm not staying no more. You know, I ain't talking about that girl. But anyway, that's her business. I just thought maybe the way she didn't keep herself up is because of situations and stuff people have. So anyway, I let her borrow. Y'all remember those Reebok classics that we used to wear? I always had a fresh pair because, you know what I'm saying, I was working. So I always had a fresh pair. I let her wear them, and I let her wear, you know, a couple of my stuff, in which I actually gave it to her because I was like, you know what I'm saying, I ain't really, you know, care too much because I can get more, you know what I'm saying, because I know she really didn't have. Then I'm like, when I kept asking for my tennis shoes back. Remind y'all, they were new. You know what I'm saying? I don't mess up my stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I kept asking for my tennis shoes, and stuff. And she was like, oh, okay. Oh, I forgot. Well, don't keep on forgetting. I will come there and get my stuff. You know, finally, she brought them back. Y'all, if y'all could have seen them freaking tennis shoes she brought back, it looked like some crackheads was wearing them doggone tennis shoes for years. That's how them tennis shoes was looking. You had a nerve to bring me them tennis shoes and remind y'all I wanted to wear them with what I had on that day. So I had on some other kind of shoes that I brought, and I was gonna keep them in my locker. But she brought me them tennis shoes, y'all. Ooh, y'all. Ooh, my blood was boiling. It was boiling, y'all. I looked at them shoes. Who in the world would bring somebody some tennis shoes like that? First of all, they want yours. And then you had the nerve to bring me my tennis shoes back. And it was like she had them since she was little. That's how bad they was. I'm like, who in the world would do some tennis shoes like that in a short period of time? Oh, Lord. Ooh. If y'all could have seen them tennis shoes, I was so mad, y'all. I laid that wench out. I laid her out. I said, you can have them. And I said, you ain't got to worry about me again. If y'all could have seen them freaking tennis shoes, it'd been like she was, y'all know that sport, and y'all got to run in the mud and all that stuff and run and do all that. That's what it seemed like she was doing, hiking and all that stuff with them shoes, working construction with them shoes on, everything. No, for real, y'all. I ain't even playing, for real. That's how they looked. So anyway, I laid that little wench out. So we won't friends no more. I said, she ain't got to worry about me again. So anyway, we won't friends no more. So anyway, I'm thinking, just because I won't friends with her no more, and that happened, the girl who stabbed my sister, I just thought she just won't friends with me no more because of that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's her cousin. So anyway, y'all, fast forward. The day before, my sister got stabbed. Now, all right. We didn't have track practice that day. That's the only reason why I caught the bus home that day. When I got on the bus and stuff, and then, you know, the girl, she said, Keisha, the African girl, sit beside me, girl, because I gotta tell you something. Which, so I said to him, roll my freaking ass went on. Anyway, the girl, and like I told you, I wasn't friends with none of them. So, you know, I mean, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? As long as y'all don't do nothing to me or say nothing to me or whatever, put your hands on me, I'm good. You feel me? It's just like y'all don't exist to me. I sat on down, and then I was seeing the girl KT, the one that stabbed my sister, she was saying smart stuff to the African girls. I was like, what the freak going on with them? You see what I'm saying? They got the arguing, right? Back and forth. They was going back and forth. They got the arguing. I don't have anything to do with that because I don't like neither one of y'all. I mean, I'm not friends with neither one of y'all, so I don't care. You feel me? As long as you don't put my sister in it, we cool. So I'm like, Keisha, move your stuff on over here because you ain't got nothing to do with it. You know? So anyway, y'all. So that's what happened. So I'm thinking it's just, I don't know what happened between them. So she did say something to my sister. We all got to arguing. But you know, I really didn't say too much because, you know, my sister can handle herself. So I didn't really have to say too much because she didn't, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, what's going on? Because I'm in the dark, y'all. I don't know what was going on. So when she was saying stuff to my sister and her and my sister got to arguing, I'm like, what the world going on? You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, well, just leave it alone. I said, Keisha, you ain't got to argue. That's your boyfriend. So at first I thought it was just my sister was taking up for the African girl, but that's why I told her to be quiet. I said, because she can handle her own stuff because I know her. You see what I'm saying? But then the girl KT, she was saying stuff to my sister too. It was saying different stuff. So I'm like, So anyway, so that's what happened. So it wasn't really like a big deal. You get what I'm saying? So anyway, my sister was telling me stuff after we got home. So I'm like, well, why you ain't never tell me? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, don't you hang around her no more. Because that's all she gonna do is get you in something. So y'all, look. So this whole time, the African girl kept picking with KT. Well, kept picking. And you know what? I think she kept picking because of the boy that I was telling you about. The boy that liked me, you know, me and him was friends, and he liked me and I liked him. He was sleeping with him. All right, KT, I think, started being friends with him, or they started fooling around or whatever. I think that's what happened. So anyway, so she was keeping that a secret of her sleeping with that boy. So that's why she kept running her mouth and picking with that girl, right? So the girl KT, I told you she quiet. So you got to watch out for them quiet ones though, but she quiet. And so she ain't never say nothing, you know what I'm saying? So this whole time, the African girl kept picking with her and stuff like that, like she can fight and can't fight. And kept picking with that girl. The girl ain't never say nothing, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so I guess she got fed up with it. So that's what happened that day when I was on the bus. Okay, so that's what happened, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all, if I'm going like from story to story or whatever. I'm just trying to remember everything. Because like I told y'all, I haven't told this story in years. So anyway, so that's what my sister was telling me that day after we got off the school bus and we went home. Now I'm caught up to everything, right? So like I said, I still didn't think none of it. You know, I'm like, all right, and I told my sister, just stay away from her. That's her battle. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? So that's between them two. Leave it alone. She told my sister Keisha that she took that boy away from her. You see what I'm saying? So we were confused about that. All right. So, you know, like I said, we were young then. So, you know, we just didn't think none of it. We just brushed it out like, oh, yeah, she crazy, whatever. So that next morning, y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all God's honest truth. All right. So that next morning, I kept telling my mom before she went to work, I said, can we stay home? I kept saying it, y'all. Oh, y'all, for real. I kept saying, can we stay home? Can we stay home? I said, I feel like something bad gonna happen. And then since I'm in God now, I know, you know, I see things. I'm a seer. So it's just like I see things and I get that feeling. And you know what I'm saying? I know what's going, you see what I'm saying? So I didn't know that back then. But I knew that we weren't supposed to have got on that school bus. And we didn't supposed to have went to school that day. You know? I kept telling my mom, I said, can we just stay home? Can we just stay home? I said, I just feel something bad gonna happen. And I kept saying it, y'all. I kept saying it, you know. So she just didn't pay it no mind. No, y'all going to school. Y'all just didn't, you know, whatever. So I had two knives in my book bag. So I took 2 knives in my book bag. So remind y'all, like I said, I still had that bad feeling. Still had that bad feeling, y'all. So we finally get on the bus and stuff. So as soon as we got on the bus, I'm walking. I look. Why did I see KT's sister T? The girl that always, you know what I'm saying, in something, fighting with her bad self. She got kicked out to school. So why you on the school bus if you got kicked out to school, right? So why are you on the school bus? I knew it. Y'all, I knew it. I knew right then and there. I said, yeah, see? Like, I knew I was right. You know, soon as I sit there and seen her, I say, see, I knew something was going to be up. I knew something was going to be up. I don't have no problem with her. You know what I'm saying? So I spoke to her. She didn't speak back. So I'm like, well, okay. You know, oh, well. So we walking on back. I just kept, let me tell y'all. I got to shaking because I knew something was about to go down. I knew something bad was going to happen. For real, y'all. I knew something bad was going to happen. It takes like, I guess like 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes to get to the school. You know what I'm saying? Because they had to pick up, you know, other people or whatever. As soon as we turned on the street where the school is at, we have to go up 3 blocks. So as soon as we turned, like going up to the school, KT, the one who stabbed my sister, walking back and forth, pacing back and forth on the bus, pacing back and forth. Our bus always was crowded. Keisha sat like 4 seats back from me. So anyway, so she just kept pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth. And so her sister, T, she was sitting like on her knees, but facing like towards us, right? So I'm watching because I'm like, I told y'all, I felt that and I knew something was going to happen. Something was going to pop off because she was there. So the way she was looking, the girl T, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking like, okay, you know, as long as you don't do nothing to me or my sister, you know, we cool, whatever, you know. So she just kept walking, pacing back and forth. So she had these gloves on. And then she put these gloves on. Listen, y'all. So the girl KT, she put these gloves on, right? And so I'm like, well, who's she about to fight? You know? So she about to fight. Now, I'm thinking she about to fight the African girl. For real, to be honest. I'm thinking she about to fight her. And she had her sister there just in case, you know what I'm saying, my sister tried to jump in it. You feel me? So that's what I thought was going to go down. So she was walking back and forth. She said, yeah. And she was just like talking out of her head, you know? She was like, and you stole my boyfriend. And you thinking it's funny because, you know what I'm saying, y'all keep doing me like this. Y'all keep doing me like this. And y'all keep doing me. She just kept like talking out of her head and keep saying that same stuff, right? So next thing I know, like I told y'all, when we turned that corner, and like I told you, we had to go 3 blocks up. And then our school was on the right-hand side. So as soon as the bus turned, she got on the, okay, you know how the buses are, right? So, you know, the seats is right here, and then the aisle is right here. So what she did, she put her hands on both of the seats, right? And like jumped up so she could kick my sister in the face. So let me tell y'all, that's what I seen, right? So remind y'all, I'm 4 seats up, right? And they 4 seats back. So that's the only thing I seen. So this whole time, right? This whole time, when she kicked my sister in the face, okay. So now, you know what I'm saying, they fighting. So my sister had grabbed her and had her up in the air and flipped over. And so now she was down and my sister was up. And my sister was like, bap, 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 bap. That's all you could hear, right? So now, this whole time, now, that's what I'm seeing. So her sister didn't jump in it. I'm making sure her sister didn't jump in it, right? Now, her sister knew what she was doing the whole time, what she was going to do the whole time. So I guess that's why she, you know, didn't jump in. So I'm making sure I'm up there with her and I'm making sure she didn't jump in it. The whole time, you know, my sister, like I said, my sister was on top of her, beating the heck out of her, right? So everybody, you know how people, they jump and they get, they standing on the seats looking at the fight and stuff like that. So as soon as we pulled up at the school, right, the only thing I seen, whew, the only thing I seen, y'all, was the African girl taking a knife out of the KT's hand, the girl that my sister was fighting, The only thing I seen was her taking that knife out of her hand, right? So me, I'm thinking that she was just about to stab my sister. So we pulled up at the school. So the bus driver was running in to get the security guards. Everybody running out the back door, the front door. Okay, the girl, she ran out the back, right? So I grabbed my sister and we went out the front. So we standing right there. So all of a sudden, right, okay, my sister had on my new white long sleeve Calvin Klein shirt on. Y'all, that was my new shirt. I let her wear. Ooh. So, so I'm telling my sister just going off, right? You know, talking, and I was like, don't worry about it, Keisha, you beat her up. Don't worry about it, you got yours, baby. So look, so y'all, the only thing I see was like, a whole lot of blood. My shirt, my white shirt was just full of blood, right? So I'm like, what the freak going on? Like, what's going on, y'all? So I'm like, Keisha, what's going on? Why you bleeding, right? So look, so then her sister, KT, was like, I did it. So the security guards, right? Security guards was like, grabbing her and stuff, right? So after that, they had put her in handcuffs and was taking her on up the steps. So I was like, oh my God, you know, so the blood was just gushing out everywhere. So I'm like, what's going on, Keisha? I'm like, you've been stabbed, you know what I'm saying? So then I said, we need help. So I kept telling people to help us, hollering for people to help us. So I said, baby, come on, let's go in the office, right? So I said, I gotta call 911. So the nurse, and so they was trying to call the nurse, I guess. So then, okay, so, oh my God, y'all. So the whole time, oh my God, so I kept going behind there because they would not call 911 for nothing. Like, so I went behind there to get the phone to call 911, y'all. They would not give me the phone. They kept trying to take the phone away from me. And my sister was right there bleeding out, you know. So they said I hit the lady with the phone twice. I don't know. I can't remember if I did. I don't know. I know I swung it, you know. And so the nurse came up there and stuff. So finally, the ambulance came and stuff, you know, so they didn't know what was going on. So they had to take me down to the security office and rushed her to the hospital. So they called my mom. Hold on, y'all. Okay. So So I just remember her sitting over there in the chair while I was trying to call 911. And she was just getting weak and weak, you know. And then I'm like, she was calling me. Oh my God. She was calling me, y'all. my baby was calling me, you know, and then I'm like, I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't do nothing. So after that, you know, she went on in the ambulance and the security office with the security guards, and they had to talk to me. The police came and stuff like that. I'm like, I gotta get to my sister. I gotta get to my sister, you know. I didn't care about nothing else. I just wanted to get to her, like, you know. So, okay, so after that, right, we went on to the hospital, and my mom and I, that right there, y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all, that took a toll on me. That, like, oh my God, that just like changed my whole perspective about everybody. Like, you know, I didn't give a freak no more, like, for real. You know, she had got stabbed 9 times, and they was like, oh my God. Ooh. They was like, when she got cut in her neck, they was like, if she would have sit there and breathed that moment, she would have been dead, y'all. They said she would have been dead right there, you know. But I'm like, why'd you do that to my baby, you know? Y'all just don't know how much I miss that girl, you know? And I don't talk about her at all, really, because it hurts so bad, y'all. It hurts so bad, like, and I just want y'all to be aware of, like, people, like, friends, you know, with literally stab you in your back for real, for no reason at all. Like, y'all gotta be careful who y'all let in y'all house. Y'all gotta be careful who y'all let in y'all space, or who y'all be friend and everything, you know. And that right there is like, I'm like, I don't want no more friends. After that, you know, she came home like several days later. I don't remember too much about that because I blocked out a lot of stuff, y'all. Yeah, I've been through a lot of trauma in my life, so I blocked out a lot of stuff. But after that, I told myself that I would never in my life let anything else happen to her at all. And I didn't, you know, I protected her. And when she had De Niro, her son, you know, I made sure they had, when she always came and asked me for something, I always gave it to her. I always looked out for her. I made sure she had to the day she died, you know, because I said, that was my fault, you know what I'm saying? That was my fault. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was my friend that I let in our house. She stayed at our house, y'all, all the time. We did for her and everything, you know what I'm saying? And she had a nerve to sit there. I mean, she almost took my sister away from me over something. Like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, over a boy that she was going with that won't even your boyfriend, you know? So, you know, ever since then, you know, it's like I blame myself for what happened to her, you know what I'm saying? But me and her, we never talked about it, you know? And that's another thing, right, that weighs on me so heavy. Like, we never talked about that again. We never talked about that incident again. We never talked about that. So this whole time, I'm thinking that this whole time I'm thinking she'd forgive me for that, you know what I'm saying? And I never asked her to forgive me for allowing that girl to come in our life and do her like that, you know. I never got a chance to talk about it with her. None at all. But, you know, I hope I showed her that, you know, I would never let anything happen to her. But then when she actually died, she died in 2000. So when she actually died, you know, it's like I was mad at the world, y'all. I was mad at the world. I was mad at the world. When I tell y'all that right there, I didn't give a freak about nothing and nobody. Nothing. I didn't care. Like, but that right there is a whole totally different story. She died of an aneurysm. I think that came from when she got stabbed in her head. in the back of her head. I think that's where that came from. But y'all, I can't, I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go, because I can't do this no more. Ooh. Y'all, I really gotta go, for real. But like I said, watch who you hang with. Watch who you hang with. Watch the things they say. You know what I'm saying? And I will get more into depth about that, because I do have a lot of more stories about the friends that stabbed me in the back. But you have to watch what they do. You got to watch what they say and who they say it to, and just a whole lot. I'm trying to tell y'all. Lord Jesus, these people, girl, these friends, honey. Oh, we didn't go back to school. I forgot to tell y'all that. We didn't go back to school the rest of the year, and didn't go back. So yeah, I couldn't go back. And you know what I'm saying? Of course she couldn't go back because of what happened to her. So they excused that, was homeschooled and stuff like that. I just couldn't go back. I just couldn't go back. So that was like one of my main reasons why I didn't finish school. So I got my GED. So I just wanted to tell y'all that's what happened for the rest of the school year. We didn't go back to school. Oh, and they didn't find her, which I don't think they looked for her at all, because never found her. So I don't know where she's at. I don't know where her sister at. I don't know anything about that. I just want her to pay for what she did to my sister. You know what I'm saying? Because my sister didn't deserve that, and I don't have my sister no more. So I'm just gonna wrap up this story time. And like I said, y'all will get a lot more story times from me